Monday Night Chat with Wong Chen.
Brought to you by the Member of Parliament for Kelana Jaya in collaboration with Invo.
Welcome back to Monday Night Chat. Quick announcements. The first thing is Abigail is on sabbatical for 4 months while she's doing a CLP or preparing to do a CLP exams. So the office is actually quite stretched at the moment. We have 2 staff remaining. Our 4 interns were down to 1. The other 3 have left. So we are overworked and apparently underpaid. So that's why we're running a donation drive for the office through the movie fundraiser. So we'll put it up on internet, and if you want to support us, please do so. Second announcement is that at Tanya's request, she's been working every Saturday to prepare this Policy Monday thing, that we'll shoot this once every fortnight. And we're going into our welfare month in June, so we're going to be extremely busy. So just to announce that Monday Night Chat will be once every fortnight from now onwards. Okay, we start off with Policy Monday. Today, I would like to talk about political policy, slightly different from my usual economic policy issues. Now, we know that all problems in Malaysia, be it social or economic, are symptoms of a failed political system. Therefore, if you want to repair the economy or you want to distribute income to people, you have to first restructure the political system. And the restructuring must give the political will to the parliamentarians and also to the people to make the changes necessary. So what do we do about restructuring political systems? It's quite easy. We have to go back to the concept of separation of power. And when we talk about separation of power, we're talking basically about the executive and the prime minister as one group, Parliament as the middle group, and then the third group is the judicial services, which includes judges, Attorney General, Auditor General, so on and so forth. Yeah. So what is it that we have to do regarding the Prime Minister and also the Cabinet? It's quite simple. The first thing we have to do is we have to make sure that the Prime Minister's term in office cannot be more than 2 terms. I think that's been done around the world. We should insist on that. Second is his budget has to be smaller. He's spending close to about 20 billion a year. That needs to be cut down by 90% to bring it down to 2 billion a year. Because the role of the Prime Minister, which has been changed over time since Dr. Mahdi's time, where he's pulling more control, the role is supposed to check on the cabinet members, make sure all the ministers are doing their job. His role is not to roll out the MRT or run the airport system or award contracts or big mega concessions. Yeah. So basically 2 terms for the Prime Minister and reduce his budget to 2 billion and make sure that he actually monitors his ministers, which brings to the idea that we must bring back the idea of collective ministerial responsibility. Basically, if one minister screws up a big scandal, the entire cabinet is responsible for that. Now, we also proposed a smaller cabinet. So instead of 26 ministries at the moment, we want to bring it down to 20, something more manageable, something more accountable and responsive, because there are many overlapping ministries. And the cabinet size shouldn't be more than 40, I think. Yeah, at the moment it's 69 members in the cabinet. That's incredible. You go to Parliament, 222 parliamentarians, 69 of them are ministers and deputy ministers. It's incredible. Okay. Now, so those are the basic things that we want to do regarding the executive, other than making sure that they're fully accountable, come to Parliament, do the PM question time, so on and so forth. As for Parliament, the most important thing is we have to look at the lawmaking process. 4 years as a member of Parliament, I can tell you there's complete failure in stakeholder engagement. So we have to bring back that thing, and that is related to the idea that parliamentarians should be given enough resources to do their job, to do the research, so that the lawmaking process becomes more acceptable and more professional. Yeah. Other than that, Parliament needs to have standing committees. All over the world, we've got standing committees. The ones that we only have is the Public Accounts Committee, and then we had an ad hoc caucus on international trade. That's not sufficient. What we need is we need standing committees on defense, finance, home, foreign matters, foreign affairs, public works, and also a judiciary standing committee. Yeah, and this idea of judiciary standing committee brings us to the next stage, which is basically reforms required in the judicial services. As I said earlier, judicial services doesn't mean just judges. It also means the Attorney General's office. Yeah, it also means the Auditor General, It also means Securities Commission. It means also Bank Negara in that sense. Anyone that has judicial or extrajudicial powers to prosecute, to implement, including MACC, of course. Yeah, all this requires reform. The reform is very simple. You cannot give the appointment of all these people to the executive or the Prime Minister. Officially, the King, the Yang di-Pertuan Agong, appoints these people, but it's on recommendation of the Prime Minister. All that has to be removed. It has to go to Parliament through a select process, a select hearing process for all the candidates. For instance, the judiciary, it should be by the way of select hearing by Parliament, yeah, for the appointment of the federal court judges and the appeal court judges. Okay, and then on those recommendations, we pass it to the Yang di-Pertuan Agong for his consideration, and the Yang di-Pertuan Agong then appoints them. Basically, remove the power of appointment from the Prime Minister and move it to Parliament, where there's a bipartisan select hearing to be conducted. By doing that, we can more or less make sure that the bank governor is appointed independently or by Parliament, the Auditor General, the Attorney General, the head of MACC, the head of the Securities Commission. Now, all this has a purpose to play, which is basically to provide complete check and balance to the executive powers, to the parliamentary powers, and also to the judiciary powers, so that we can for once have the political will to do the right thing and be completely transparent and accountable to the rakyat. Now, that is basically Policy Monday for this week. Okay, we got 3 questions this week for Q&A. The first question is, will the Selangor government topple now that PAS has made it clear that they don't want anything to do with PKR anymore? Very simple. Let's do the maths. There's no point giving conspiracy theories and stuff like that. Let's just do the basic maths. PKR has 13 aduns, TAP has 14, Amanah has 2. Now this is the Pakatan Harapan lineup, and out of this, therefore the total is 29 out of 56 aduns, which means we have the majority. Now UMNO has 12, PAS has 13, so that's 25 on their side. If they unite together, they only have 25. There are 2 independents. One Tan Sri Khalid, which is pro-PAS and pro, I don't know about pro-UMNO, but it's definitely pro-PAS. And then the other one is the DAP Adun that was sacked over disciplinary matters. So even if those 2 independents join them at 25, they'll get 27. They still don't have the majority. So mathematically speaking, the Selangor government cannot topple, unless of course there are defections across board. Yeah, but on paper, they cannot topple Selangor government. Okay? Now, second question comes from Eddie Gunn, one of our loyal readers, whether the 3 corner fights will kill off Pakatan Harapan chances in the coming election. Now, this is the so-called thinking going around in the UMNO and PAS circle, that a 3 corner fight will definitely prevent the opposition from winning the GE14. Let's put it this way. Of course, if we can do one-on-one, that's much better. And the low rating of the Prime Minister in the 30% or so means that actually UMNO is on the ropes. If not for PAS, being friendlier to UMNO than to Pakatan Harapan, we will definitely see the end of Barisan Nasional in the coming election. Yeah, but things have changed, circumstances have moved on, and PAS seems more friendlier to UMNO. Therefore, it raises the possibility of an unavoidable 3 corner fight in many, many seats. Now, I think the only way to go forward is this. We can have open channel to talk to PAS on certain seats, to do one-on-one. That's political survival and political calculation. But you can hope for that. But the saying is, hope for the best, prepare for the worst. So we have to prepare for the 3 corner fight. I think that is the fundamental issue now. Yeah. So what is interesting is at Invoke, we're quite close to people at Invoke. We're doing the basic maths and doing the scenarios because we understand that this hatred or this animosity between PAS and UMNO has been 60 years in building. So only very core supporters will support whatever Hadi says or whatever Najib will say. The non-core supporters, will they waver? So that brings up the issue whether they are guaranteed a victory in the coming election. So Invoke will do the maths. We will see door to door, street to street, and come out with a formula on how to win G40. Do not give up hope. As I said, open negotiation because we hope for the best scenario, but we have to prepare for the worst. So it's not over until the fat lady sings, as they say. The last question is, what have we been up to in Kelana Jaya in the last week or so? We've had few activities. Of course, Vesak was quite busy for me. We have a lot of functions as usual every week. I think we had 6 last weekend. But essentially, I just want to highlight one of the big issues, which is in Block 2. There is an ongoing dispute between the JMB and some representatives from the Indian community. So that has escalated a bit of tension going on. We have gone down, we've met with both sides. We hope to resolve the matter as soon as possible. But on Monday Monday this week, I'm going to go and see the Chief of Police in Sungai Way and have a long discussion with him. What we try to do is we try to find a common solution so that the matter can resolve itself. They're very different from what happens in Subang Jaya. Desa Mentari and Subang Jaya are completely two different worlds. Tensions are higher because poverty is rife there. Okay, so that's about it. More work on this community this week than last. Thank you.
Hi, my name is Aly and I've been interning at YB Wong Chen's office since the 1st of March. I've been really glad to make productive use of my last few months in Malaysia before I leave to university.
Hi, my name is David. Initially, I came into this internship thinking that it'll just be a typical workplace environment whereby you get ordered around to do stuff. But instead, I got to learn a lot through the help of Tanya, Abigail and Nadira, who are the research officers, and also of course Mr. Wong himself.
Something that I really enjoyed about this internship was being able to write a policy paper on something I am passionate about, which is gender equality. But the main focus of my paper was on female representation in Malaysian politics.
So during this internship, we had a parliamentary visit, which was a really fun and nice experience. And through that, I got to talk to a lot of the country leaders and learn how important is it to build your educational background, build your character, and also your passion to serve the country.
So it was really great to have been able to follow Boss to Parliament throughout the month of March, where I was able to conduct one-on-one interviews with female members of Parliament, including the leader of the opposition, YB Dr. Wan Aziza Wan Ismail.
So one of the things that drive me to learn more about politics was that I was always very interested in helping people. So through community services such as medical camps or even the canvassing, we got to do exactly that. So I'm really happy that this internship provided the opportunity.
Something else that I really liked about this internship was how inclusive it was. We frequently have intern meetings with YB Wong Chen, where we discuss everything from politics to current issues to our favorite TV shows. So I realized that it's not everywhere that employers will be this attentive of their interns. So I think that's been really great. Lastly, my favorite part of the internship was the company of the staff and my fellow interns who introduced me to authentic mamak food, including roti canai, roti Milo, and roti tissue, which is something that I will be appreciative of for the rest of my life.
Thanks for watching this video and see you. Bye bye.